Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Valentine Valencia and today I bring you an exciting tutorial on how to use GitKraken to manage Git repositories. Whether you are new to Git or just looking to learn how to use this powerful tool, this video is for you. Here we have an old project with not much in it, and that's why I'll use it to experiment and showcase the application's graph. Okay, so let's start by understanding what branches are in Git. In Git, branches are like separate lines of development that allow you to work on features or bug fixes without affecting the main branch of the project. The application is called Kraken because in a project with many collaborators, there will be so many branches that it will look like a Kraken. It's important to understand the difference between local and remote. What's in local is the state of the branch on your machine, and what's in remote is the state of the branch in the repository. Here we can see the branches. I have both locally and remotely. Here on my left I have this menu where you can see that each branch that I have in local I have to browse it there from remote. How? With a double click. If you double click a branch, here I don't need to do that because it's already there. I already have it. But if you don't already have it, you just do a double click here and it will pass really quickly to the local to be a local branch, to create a local branch in the project in this computer. Okay, in GitKraken creating and switching between branches is super easy. Let's see how to do it. Take a remote branch into the local repository with a double click. Okay, to create a new branch, you just have to, let's say I am currently here in this branch. You can see that it has the computer icon, that means local, and it has the profile image that I have for my account in GitHub. That means that this local version is up to date with the remote version. If I want to create a new branch from here, all you have to do is do a right click and create branch here, and here you name it using a clever naming structure, a naming convention. That's up to you. That's up to the master or the architect of this project. I recommend you to use prefixes like, I don't know, frontend slash feature one. That can be whatever, like deleting button or adding endpoint, etc, etc. Okay, I'm not going to do it right now because I don't need it, so we can continue, we can move on. Okay, so let's talk about the checkout command. In Git, checkout is used to switch between branches or to restore files to a previous version. In GitKraken we can use checkout very intuitively. How? Let's say here I am in the branch Preba 2, so if I want to check out this other branch, all I have to do is do a right click and check out, and the name of the branch, Preba. That's all. Here we can see a message of a successful checkout. That's useful. Or you can do it directly from here, from the left panel, like doing a, I don't know, double clicking this old branch, and it's going to check out this old branch right here. The checkout also works for, just let me check out the branch that I'm going to use for this tutorial. The checkout also works for time traveling. If you want, the magic behind GitKraken is that you can visualize, you can see the graph, you can see the Git flow, you can see the Git history. What does that mean? That means that you not only are able to check out different versions of different features, but you also can very intuitively through this interface go back in time to a previous commit, to a previous version of that same feature. For example, I am in this branch, but let's say I want to check out the past. I can do a check out this commit. If I do it, I get this pointer head. That means that I am currently in this state of the project. That means that all the changes, all the files, all the folders are in the state at that moment, just like they were at this moment of time. If I want to go back in time to the present, you have simply to check out the current pointer. In this case it's here, or you can do it from the left panel too. Okay, it's very important that we address one of the fundamental concepts of Git, the stage, commit, push and pull process. These actions are essential to keep track of changes in your repository. Want to know how they work in GitKraken? Keep watching till the end of this video. When I make changes to my files, I can choose whether to stage those files or to use an stash. What does that mean? Well, I am currently in this branch. I'm going to open this file. This is the project, by the way. Okay, so just let me add some message like, okay, tutorial, and no, this is a simulation of programming. This is in real life programming. These are going to be the programming files that you are working on. So you save the changes, you can view the changes, and you can stage those changes. If you stage a change, it's like saying that you are accepting that change. You can also revert it with the help of this little trash icon. So you add a commit message, adding text. The message, I recommend you that it should be self-explanatory for your collaborators to understand what you have done, and for yourself to understand what you have done too. And you do a push. It's very important to know the difference between a push and a pull. If you are pulling from the sky. You are pulling, imagine like a string that I'm pulling from the sky, from the cloud, from the internet. And so doing a push is all the opposite. I am sending something, I am pushing something to the sky, to the internet. So if I do a push, I am sending these changes that up to here are just local in my machine to the repository, so that everybody in the project have them. I do a push, and we get the message pushed successfully. Nice. If I was my collaborator in the other side of the world, let's say in China, what I would have to do is, okay, I open my computer, I check out this branch, and then I must do a pull, because I want to pull the changes that my collaborators have done on this branch, let's say. Okay, that's the basic cycle of a developer, but it's important to understand what is an stash. Okay, so let's say you continue working here, like, okay, some function here, function, and awesome function, and you save the changes in this file, and that's going to get you here this change. You don't have to stage this new adding this new function to the project. If you are not sure, or if you have to review something before, you can do a stash. As you can see here, the letters WIP, that means work in progress. You have the possibility to name this stash after something, like the awesome function. So when you make a stash of it, okay, you can see that the change here in the right panel disappeared, but it is not deleted. It is here in the stashes. The stashes are like a place in your desktop, a place in your local machine to save these changes temporarily if you are not sure if they are worth it. You can then say apply stash to this branch, or pop, or deleting this stash. That's up to you. And that will be not covered in this video, but the essentials of this video that I want to transmit to you is that you have a great set of tools here in GitKraken for simplifying the way that you are developing software. Okay, so another important thing is the merges. Okay, merging or merge is another fundamental operation in Git. It allows us to combine changes from different branches into one. So let's say, okay, I have my prueba 2, this branch here. Okay, so let's say I'm working on something that I'm really going to commit, like change in I save this change, I view the change, I stage the change, I add a commit message, like, okay, I'm just making something up for this. Okay, and I do a push. Okay, so now let's check out this other branch that it's called prueba. In this branch, this file, I want to add something like, I don't know, work in B. I save these changes here, it will appear here. I have to stage this file here. I have to add a commit message like work in B. You can add a description, but that's not obligatory, and you do a push. Okay, so now you have two different branches, each one with different features of the project, and you want to combine them into one. So to merge branches in GitKraken, first we have to do a checkout of the branch that will receive the merge, and then we have to select the branch that it's going to merge. Okay, so let's say that I'm going to check out this branch. I have to make sure that it is up to date, so I make a pull. Obviously it's up to date because I am the only one working in this project right now. So I already checked out the branch that will receive the merge, and I select this branch. Okay, I'm not clicking this branch, I just do a right click and merge. GitKraken does all the work for you. Merge prueba into prueba 2. Okay, this is good. There are merge conflicts that need to be resolved. This is very important. Why this happened? Because these two branches are competing for trying to resolve what changes are we going to keep, because I changed this both branches worked in the same file and in the same line, so obviously there is a conflict. It's the duty of the developer to solve that conflict. So GitKraken simplifies the way that you can do this. You have here the conflicted files. You do a click in this file, and obviously you have here, like, okay, in this branch the prueba 2, and in this branch the prueba, you have this, and in this branch you have this. So it is asking you, okay, what version do you want to keep? Okay, so in this case I'm just going to keep both. That's something you can do, and the final result is going to be here. But in a real project you have to sit down and think, okay, what is this doing, what is this doing, what is the change that you want to select. Or if you arrive to the conclusion that these two changes can be both beneficial to the project, you can keep both. So you save, you do a save, and you do a commit and merge. Okay, and you see here that the graph in our local version, because you can see only the computer icon, not my account profile image, so it's only in local. But let's see if the merge worked effectively. It added the two changes. By the way, you can see that I have to close this file just to open it again. That's just for these text files that are really plain text. But if you're working with text editors like Visual Studio or IntelliJ, that doesn't happen. The changes are applied automatically and immediately after you do anything in GitKraken. Okay, so we do a push for pushing this merge that I did to the repository. It's important to notice that if you have done a mistake, and mistakes are going to happen, if you have made a mistake in a commit, we can easily revert it with GitKraken. How? Well, for starting, you have this button. You have this button here, undo. That's useful. That's useful for if I do hit this, be successful. What you can see here is that all that merge was reverted. And if you redo, you can see that everything is fine. It's just like and that you can see that everything is fine. But okay, that only works for the immediate changes, like okay, one step back in time and one step forward in time. So but what if you just realize that someone, maybe you, messed up the project way ago, like some 10 commits away? You can do some work, but it's a little more complicated. But GitKraken allows you to have this graph, and with the graph you can have a better understanding, a visual understanding on what has been the problem, what has been the evolution and the changes and the features added and the merges and the conflicts that were resolved. So you can, okay, in case of a mistake at some point of the Git flow, so you can have the tools for resolving it, for solving the issue. For that, if you make a right click here, you can see that we have the option for reset a branch to a certain commit. We have also delete, that is, I don't recommend it, but there are plenty of commands that you can do. You can do you scroll down and you will find something, a lot of more options, like you're going to find a rebase option, you're going to find a squash option, a cherry pick option, a drop option, and all of those options. I cannot cover all of them in this video, but what I want you to take them into account, and that actually there is a huge community out there of developers that are using GitKraken too, and that all of us will be there for trying to help each other. Okay, so that's all for this GitKraken tutorial. I hope you've learned a lot about how to use this incredible tool for managing Git repositories. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Thanks for joining me today, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.